there's 5 minutes left, I'll just stop wherever I am, and then we'll do Q&A. I hope I don't speak too loudly, and I hope I don't speak too quickly. Thank you, iEnglish, for allowing me to speak on the important topic of Black Lives Matter. Before I begin, it's a pleasure to be back at iEnglish and to see familiar faces and new faces. If you're a newcomer or not a member yet, I hope you do join iEnglish. I hope you tell your friends to join. I hope you tell your friends to join. It's a great place to practice English. And you might become like Iris and Ian and even get married and have a baby. So, second joke, and nobody laughed. Okay. Please join iEnglish, and please give your time. Please be a speaker or host or gourmet. We used to say in iEnglish, the more you give, the more you receive. Old members know that. I don't know if we still say that. Okay, yes, fine. I got you all laughing at my jokes. Great. Okay. And of course, it is always a pleasure to return to Taipei. Taipei is one of the world's great cities. Taipei is one of the best cities in the world to live in. Taipei is my favorite city in the world. So, show from Japan, good choice.
Okay, thank you.
Sisters and brothers, I'm going to talk about the important topic of Black Lives Matter. Now, first, I am not an organizer with Black Lives Matter. I am just someone who pays attention to Black Lives Matter. I have a friend. I'll call him John. John has a job and a master's degree, and he's single. And he also has 2 cars. One night in the middle of 2014, this was in California, in the city of Sacramento, he asked me for help. He would drive one of his cars while I drove his second car because he had recently purchased it. So we were driving through Sacramento. It was nighttime. John was driving in front of me. I was driving John's red Dodge Charger. The men in the audience know what that is. John was driving a Cadillac. The cops pulled him over. At first, I laughed at him because he was going to get a ticket. Then, I got scared. Why did I get scared? Because my friend John is black. He is a young, unarmed black man. I was afraid that the cops would beat him. I found a place to park, and I ran to the scene. There were 2 squad cars and 2 bike cops. That's 4 cops, at least, just for a traffic stop. I started walking to the scene. One bike cop, Officer Martinez, around 5 feet tall and obese, was on foot. "Get out of here," he said to me. "This doesn't concern you," he also said. "I know him," I said multiple times. "That's John." John's not his real name, I'm just protecting his identity. "That's John," I said multiple times. "He's my friend," I said multiple times. "Can I observe you?" I asked multiple times. Officer Martinez of the Sacramento Police Department then ran at me. That's how far I was from him. He had to run several feet to get to me. I threw up my hands and said, "I'm unarmed." The other bike cop joined Officer Martinez. They cuffed me. and put me in the back of a squad car. I said, my lawyer's phone number is in my wallet. The other bike cop, a blonde white female, said, we can detain you for 20 minutes without calling your lawyer. That same cop later told me, people around here don't like cops. Legally, they can detain me for no more than 20 minutes. They detained me for longer than 20 minutes. They broke the law. As I sat in the back of the cop car, hands cuffed behind me, another cop, apparently the ranking officer on the scene, a tall, bald, white male, said, I think we're being punked. He then told me that he doesn't know who's a threat or not. I said, John is not a threat to anyone. The cop looked at me, shocked, as if anyone would dare question him. Eventually, they let me go and gave John a ticket for driving with tinted windows. There is no law against driving with tinted windows. It was night. It was dark. What if I approached them with my black phone to video record them like this? Would they have thought it was a gun? Would they have shot me? What if I was black? What if I was black? What would they have done? After that incident, I spoke with two different lawyers. Both told me there was nothing I could do. 4 years later, this year, on the night of 18 March 2018, again in Sacramento, someone called 911 because someone was breaking car windows. The police responded to the call. They found a young black man and they shot him and killed him. He was unarmed. His name was Stephon Clark. He was 22 years old. He leaves behind a widow and 2 children. He also leaves behind a brother. Stephon's brother is Stavante Clark. Stavante was recently arrested and released from jail. After his brother was murdered, he was behaving erratically, as though he were suffering from some kind of mental illness. Stavante's erratic behavior caused his landlord to call the police on him. Stavante's room was a chaotic mess, and he threatened his landlord. Stavante then appeared on the news from jail, where he gave an interview. He seemed to also speak erratically. I'm not a mental health professional. From my layman's eyes, it seems that Stavante is mentally disturbed. Perhaps he had mental issues before his brother was murdered. But the murder of a loved one is enough to drive many mentally healthy people to an unhealthy place. Perhaps Stavante is suffering from PTSD. Police killing and harassing black people is a nationwide problem in America. Yet, after the murder of Stephon Clark, the White House said that it is a local problem. But the fact is, there are many stories of police harassing black people all over America. Black Americans are harassed by the police for driving while black, standing on the sidewalk while black, and even waiting at Starbucks while black. It's almost as if it's a crime to be alive while black. It is the criminalization of blackness. It is illegal to be black in America. There are over 6 times as many white people than black people in America. but there are 5 times as many black people in jails than white people in America. Black people commit 5 times as much crime as white people? According to the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in the last month, there has been a change. The change is that the NAACP receives more complaints about Sacramento police than any other city. Why is this? It could be that the murder of Stephon Clark has prompted others to speak up about racism from SAC PD. Perhaps SAC PD was already the worst offender, or one of the worst, and no one talked about it until the murder of Stephon Clark. Perhaps the murder of Stephon Clark was the tipping point. Whether or not SAC PD is indeed the worst offender, or whether or not there's just more attention now on Sacramento because of the murder of Stephon Clark, Sacramento is now a focal point. How much of a focal point is an important question, given that Sacramento is by no means the only place where racism attacks black people. And now we have a President Donald Trump who, as Dan Savage has recently pointed out, is a global disinhibitor. His vitriolic racism, such as calling immigrants animals, gives permission to others to be racist towards all groups. People feel freer to say the N-word overtly and publicly, and to be overtly racist. Public intellectuals like Joseph Peterson deny the existence of white privilege. This also disinhibits racism. These cops in America, as was pointed out on the Young Turks YouTube channel, are race soldiers. This is racism. This is state-sponsored terrorism. And it must be fought. The problem is the system. And if the problem is the system, then the solution is not a new leader in the system. The system itself needs to be changed. In other words, having a black president didn't fix the problem. The Democrats are not the solution. Indeed, it was President Bill Clinton who exploded the prison population in America. It was Hillary Clinton who called black youth offenders super predators. It was candidate Hillary who had her security remove a Black Lives Matter protester from one of her events. But it was Senator Bernie Sanders who gave the microphone to Black Lives Matter activists when they disrupted one of his speeches. But again, a President Sanders in and of itself is not the solution. What is the solution? How can racism be inhibited? How can the system be changed? I'll mention some things, just a few things. This is by no means all of the solutions. Fighting racism and other injustices must be done, as Chris Hedges says, town by town. After the murder of Stephon Clark, Black Lives Matter Sacramento began organizing activism. Because of the activism of Black Lives Matter Sacramento, all police must have body cams and must release the footage of officer-involved shootings within 30 days. Around 1 month ago, Cornel West said that Sacramento could be an example of resistance against racism to the rest of the country. These recent changes may prove that West was prophetic. But body cams won't stop the murder of young, unarmed black men by cops. But at least it provides evidence for the prosecution of these state-sponsored terrorists. And the police who kill these young, unarmed black men must be prosecuted. Another way to inhibit racism is to correctly teach history. You see, in America, we're taught in schools that America revolted against England for freedom. But this is not true. England already abolished slavery before the American Revolution, which meant that soon England would abolish slavery in all of the colonies, including America. But America revolted. Why? So we could keep slavery. In other words, racism is fundamental to America. Or, as Beyonce Knowles said, racism is so American that when you challenge racism, you look like you're challenging America. Why do we need police? To protect our property, or to protect our property rights, or to keep our property rights, or to keep our property, our slaves, from escaping. And this brings us back to the murder of Stephon Clark. Why were the police called? Someone is breaking car windows. Someone is violating property rights. Shoot the suspected violator. Property is more important than black lives. In slavery, black people were dehumanized into property. Now it can seem like black people, particularly young, unarmed black men, are even less valuable than property. Black people have gone from slavery or property to less than property or less than slavery. Or, as Michael Dyson recently said, black people have been liberated into oppression. Police in America shoot and kill people much more frequently than police in London. The same is true for the police in Taiwan. Why do American police kill people so often? One reason, again, not the only reason, just one, that they do kill people is because they're trained to. They're not trained to de-escalate. They're trained to be violent. They even look like soldiers, not like cops. American police are dressed in green, wear helmets, and carry long rifles. One reason they do that is because of Israel. Many American police have professional exchanges with Israeli forces where they learn, among other things, how to militarize. So, another way to improve the police in America more broadly is to end these professional exchanges with Israel. So, if you're Taiwanese, what can you do? The best thing you can do right now is go to Sacramento, California. Your Taiwan passport allows you to stay in America visa-free for 90 days. That's 90 days of activism. Go to Sacramento and get in touch with Black Lives Matter and ask them, how can I help you? But be warned, the cops in America are not like the cops in Taiwan. The cops in America will shoot you. They will kill you. How are we doing on time?
There's about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. Okay, that was quick. Well then, that's all I'll say for now. And for more information on Black Lives Matter, please follow Black Lives Matter Sacramento on Facebook, and please follow my Facebook where I focus on Black Lives Matter. This is my Facebook. My Taiwan Facebook, which I don't use anymore, is friends with this other Facebook where I focus on Black Lives Matter. And now I'll open it up for questions if there are any. Thank you. Any questions? Michael, how about, why don't I keep talking? What do you want to do? Should we break, or should I keep talking for a little bit, or? Okay, cool. So, this is not the only, incidents where this has happened. You might have heard, I mentioned Starbucks earlier. There was a case in Philadelphia where two black men, they were waiting in a Starbucks in Philadelphia, and they were waiting to do a real estate deal. And their friend, who was not black, who was white, showed up. But by that time, Starbucks had already called this is another thing. Let me talk about Taiwan too. See, okay, here in Taiwan, you're not like everywhere in the world. You're not supposed to use the bathroom or sit down unless you buy something first, right? But here in Taiwan, everybody's cool. You go to Starbucks, use the bathroom, you go outside, whatever. Everybody does that. You go to 7-Eleven. I have $100. Can you give me $250, please? Yeah, sure, no problem. But this is another thing in America. In America, we tend to have, we're afraid of each other. See, everybody says, oh, I come to Taiwan and everybody's so friendly, right? No? Okay. No, but you might have heard this. A lot of people from the US or from Japan or from wherever, they go to Taiwan, they say, wow, Taiwanese people are really friendly. And part of this problem, there's a lot of this. It's not just specifically a black thing, though that is important, is this idea that this is mine, this is private property, what are you doing here? Get out. Can I, if you, in Starbucks, and there's a lot more going on here. In Starbucks, in America, you can't just go in and use the bathroom. You have to ask them, oh, can I have the key to use the bathroom? Can I have the code to use the bathroom? And the response is, oh, did you buy something? Can I see your receipts? And that's what happened to these two black guys in Starbucks. One said, can I use the bathroom? Oh, you have to buy something. Well, look, I don't want to buy anything. Can I please use the bathroom? And then the lady freaked out and she called the cops. So there's a lot going. One of the things why I like coming to Taiwan so much is because all these issues are related, and one of the things that makes me sad as an American is that these problems we have in America, you don't have them here in Taipei. The cops don't shoot people here. Yeah, they do, but not like in America, not frequently. There's so little crime here. Anybody, any female in here can walk anywhere in Taiwan, anytime. Nothing will happen to you. We're so scared, and there is a lot of crime in America, and we're so scared, especially generally speaking, if we see a black person at night, oh, call the cops, there's a black person there. What are they doing there? This black family or couple, they were at an Airbnb in a neighborhood, and they went outside, and this white person saw them and thought, oh, what are they doing here? I've never seen them before. So she called the police. So there are all these things that happen a lot in America that you will not see happen here in Taiwan. You might think there's so many homeless people here in Taipei. You might think that if you ever go to America, you're going to see a lot more homeless people. You're going to see a lot more crime. You're going to see like I said, the police dressed as soldiers. So there's really this problem of racism is connected to other problems in America. One of them being we have so much poverty. Now, one of the reasons why there's so much poverty in America is that the number one reasons that Americans go bankrupt is we can't afford our medical bills. Now, why is that? because we still do not have a healthcare plan that covers everybody. Taiwan, Japan, Europe, Canada, they all have healthcare that covers everybody. America still doesn't have a healthcare plan that covers everybody. Still doesn't. So this problem is very American, and it's all connected. We recently saw the Israelis open fire on unarmed protesters. And so there's a connection with oppressed peoples, the oppressed Palestinians in Israel, and the oppressed black people in America. And like I said, the police in Israel, they have these professional exchanges where they share with each other what not to do, so to speak, in a way. They share with each other how to become more violent. And again, another difference, a lot of the cops you see in Taiwan, they don't even have a gun. They're just walking around. They're not even armed. Right, exactly. In America, there was another school shooting. So just think about this. Just think about how different America is from Taiwan. In America, a lot of people own guns, and a lot of the cops own guns. Okay, what's going to happen? Yeah, if there are a lot of guns, what's going to happen? And here in Taiwan, that doesn't happen. Because people don't have guns. Our culture is different. In America, we have the sense that we have to be violent because that's who we are, and we like being ignorant. We like being stupid. We like not being intelligent. Here in America, here in Taiwan, people, they want to learn English. They want to travel. In America, people don't want to learn languages. They don't want to travel. Am I out of time? Okay. So we have 2 minutes. And any questions? Right.
Asian people, when the cultural America is the black people is the worst situation than Asian people.
I don't want to say the situation is worse for black people than it is for Asian American. I don't want to say the situation is worse for black people in America or black Americans than it is for Asian people in America or Asian Americans. Asian Americans face discrimination also. Fresh Off the Boat is a TV show. That's what the only TV show where there's an Asian American family on TV, the only one. And that's another thing. Everybody on TV. It was Tavis Smiley who actually has been accused of sexual harassment, but Tavis Smiley said, you turn on the TV in America all day, all night, all white. So I don't want to say one is better than the other, but everyone who is, unfortunately, who is not white will face some kind of racism in America. And right now, Donald Trump, he recently said immigrants are animals and the children of immigrants are not innocent. Now, what he's talking about is people like me. He's talking about Latinos mostly. But it's very easy for that hate of immigrants to go to the hate of black people, the hate of Asian people, hate those other people than over there.
I know there have been lots of activism regarding black rights, but I haven't seen that from what you say. I didn't see that the right or the black have gone a long way. So do you think this material activism can work? I'm quite relatively not very optimistic. Because just like in Palestine, like the electric Intifada and Jewish Voice for Peace, they have been taking activism for Palestinian rights for a long time. So, they can just for like sponsoring Hamas or something. They can even like kicked out Human Rights Watch state. And the only other country to that is like Cuba, Iran, North Korea. So no one will really care about that. Do you think how can this kind of activism really work and put into effect against this kind of racism, operation, and injustice?
And the last question.
There are changes. We are no longer segregate. Things are different. There are more opportunities. We have seen a black president. We have seen black people and other non-white people improve in some areas. I don't want to say improve. Changes have been made. Dr. King said the arc of justice is long, but it bends towards justice. Oh, no, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. So yeah, it can seem really bleak. It can seem really bleak, grim. It can seem hopeless. But but in a way, those of us who are activists, no, not in a way, we have no choice. We can't just give up. Chris Hedges said, I don't fight. I think he got it from someone else. He said, I don't fight fascists because I will win. I fight fascists because they are fascists. So the point is actually not whether or not we will accomplish. Excuse me. No, let me say it again. We have no choice but to work towards justice, even if in my lifetime I don't see that justice. One more question?
The last question.
Last question.
How do you think about Jerusalem capital?
Who?
Because recently, Donald Trump moved,
Oh, the embassy?
embassy in Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's what the other gentleman was saying. Yeah, that is part of the continual. I'm against the move of the embassy to Jerusalem. That is part of the continual genocide against the Palestinians. Remember, it's not true that Israel was endangered by Egypt and its neighbors, and they had to strike first. Mossad, Israel's intelligence, and the CIA. They told the U.S. president, no, there's no danger. Israel outmatches everyone, their neighbors easily, and then they attacked first. And they also kicked out 750,000 Palestinians. They kicked out 750,000 Palestinians, and 50 or many years later today, they are still not. Their children and grandchildren are not allowed to return. So basically, I'm against the embassy move. I'm against moving the capital to Jerusalem. So is the UN, by the way. I'm against the occupation. So is the UN, by the way. And make no mistake, Barack Obama supported Israel's moving their capital, and so does Hillary Clinton. So for all the people who are saying, wow, Donald Trump is so different, no, he is not. Okay? Like I said before, it's all part of the same system. So the solution is not a black president in and of itself. The solution is not a woman president in and of itself. The solution are these specific policy changes to the system. Thank you very much, and please go to Black Lives Matter. Please follow Black Lives Matter Sacramento on Facebook, and please follow my Facebook and please follow this, which is friends with my Taiwan Facebook, which I don't use anymore. Thank you very much, everybody.